Welcome back to the show. Now, the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform has extended the deadline to farmers to register dams as well as boreholes to the 31st of October 2025. Now, the Ministry of Agriculture is currently establishing 3 water governance institutions under the Water Resource Management Act to improve water management in the country. This was revealed at a workshop on water resource management on the Act that is in various regions, actually. And we have invited the Chief Hydrogeologist from the ministry, that is Mr. Sakeus Ihema, right here. He's with us in studio this morning. A very good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, I'm all right, how are you?
Good, thank you very much. I think we've got a couple of things to talk about, and I think if we can start at a place, maybe you can give us a background on the contributing factors to the extension that is for the farmers to get their dams and their boreholes registered.
Thank you very much. I think you might be aware that this act was promulgated in 2013. Thereafter, it took a long time for the regulations to be signed before it came into force. So then this happens on the 29th of August 2023. However, probably the message didn't go out there to the stakeholders that by then they should have already started with the issues of dam registration and any other application to comply with, because the provision was that they needed 18 months. So however now, until last minute, that's when now people realized that they needed now to register. So, but the Act also has a provision to say is an individual or a group of persons can apply to request for an extension. But that extension must be now, they must give reasons, and the minister should now also consider to say whether it's valid reason that they have given. So, so far the Namibia Agriculture Union did request for that extension on behalf of their stakeholder, because they saw that reasons that they gave, like the awareness was not enough to the stakeholders. So therefore, the wider stakeholders that are in more rural areas were not aware that the due date was already upon for submission and stuff like that. So upon consideration, then the minister actually now considered the extension for 8 months. But this extension was only to the NAU members, because you need to apply and you must show, you must justify why actually you need that extension before you are considered for any extension.
Now, sir, you know, I've noticed that us as Namibians, we are very last-minute people. We can give extension and an extension. So what happens in this instance now after the 31st of October if registrations are not done?
So after the 31st of October, so now as the ministry, now we are expected now to actually enforce the regulations as per now the Act. Those that are found to be on the wrong side, they are now, if it's this offense now, there are repercussions in terms of either the cost that they need to pay or action that also includes sometimes sealing of the boreholes and other stuff, or even at the extent of going to jail if you are found to be, you know, deliberately actually not following the law.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Now, name 3 of the institutions that is said to be established under the Act and what their roles will be, sir. And at the same time, you held various workshops in various regions, that is also from last week and or so on. Tell us what also were some of the outcomes there.
Okay. So the Act actually made a provision to establish 3 institutions, which is the Water Advisory Council, the Water Regulator, and the Water Tribunal. So the Water Advisory Council will consist of 11 members. That their most important role is to advise the minister. And then the Water Regulators is also to be appointed based on now requirements that are put there, and their role is to set up tariffs and levies, and also do compliance checking on water service providers and also policy advice on the minister. Then the Water Tribunal is now like a legal body where if you are aggrieved by the decision of the minister in terms of maybe your application or what we're talking about now, the non-compliance, and you are taken to court and you feel that it's unfairly done, so therefore now you can appeal to the tribunal. So, and it will be headed by a judge appointed by the president, the judge president from the higher court with the minister. So, and all these bodies, their time span is, I think it's 5-year term for each body, but the minister can extend the terms, yes. And they will be funded through the appropriation from the parliament, so through the Minister of Finance. And they are expected to at least sit 4 times a year in terms of now what the Act says in terms of their duties now, that to deliberate on any other action or they need to take.
So there was also concerns raised by the Office of the Attorney General with regards to the establishment of the Water Advisory Council. What were some of these concerns, if you can just touch on that for us as well?
So what was raised by the Office of the Attorney General is the list of the required members of the Advisory Council. Let's say, for instance, the first one, it says 2 members from the Association of Regional Council, which at the moment that association is not in place. Mm-hmm. And then there's also members, like 1 member from interested agricultural sector. But now, what if more than 1 or 2 members are interested? Yeah. How do you come up to say this is now the one that we take? So those are the issues that were raised, maybe just to say that in terms of getting proper representative, it shouldn't be like interested. It should be to say a certain body directly, to say that represents a certain group must be the one that represents, rather than say interested body, because we have NAU, we have NNFU, we have other unions that also might say that we are also interested to serve. But now, how do you decide now as to which body do you take? Because they are all agricultural sector. So those are the issues, some of the issues that were raised. Mm-hmm. And then to come back on the issue of the awareness that we took 2 weeks ago, mm-hmm. It was quite interesting because we were able now to meet the stakeholders out there and actually give the message as to what the Act says, and that interaction we actually find to understand also some of the concerns that they see, so those that have went through the Act and read and feels that some of the issues might be very difficult to implement, or it's quite challenging for them to comply with. And we took note of some of those issues that were raised in the regions, because we were able to go into all major towns in the country, mm-hmm. and even in some smaller localities, we were able to go there and hold this awareness campaign. Okay. So at the moment now we are consolidating all the informations that we have captured from this awareness, and then we'll try now to see whether there's any recommendation for any amendments from what we have received from the stakeholder, mm-hmm. and also if there's anything that feedback-wise to say that based on what some of the issues that we couldn't maybe answer on there, so we can provide feedback to those stakeholders.
Mr. Ihema, thank you very much. Your final words here to the farmers, or just to the Namibia nation as a whole?
So to the nation at large, and the farmers and whoever is the water users, so the Act here is meant to protect and manage the water resources. At the same time also, we are trying to ensure that the future of Namibia's water sector is well managed in terms of compliance to issues of water use and any other stuff that affects the water resources. So we are now urging the public out there that they need to familiarize themselves with what the law says about the water. And they shouldn't actually dive more into stories that are going out there. Rather, they should consult the ministry for any clarity that they need, so that they have the right information. Because from the start we had misinformations, and the end now we ended up having now last-minute move. People wanted now everybody to apply in last minute. So we urge that for information, rather contact the ministry. And we also thank NAU because they played a role in terms of they came to the ministry as the first stakeholders that engaged us. And whatever information they got from the ministry, they were able to take it to their constituency. On their website, they gave the information, and all whatever materials they got, they updated on their website. So at least they played a role in terms of distributing the information to their stakeholder.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time this morning, Mr. Ihema.
Thanks for having me.
All right. There you have it, Chief Hydrogeologist there from that is the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, talking to us about the extension or the extended deadline that is for farmers to register their dams and their boreholes. That will be extended until the 31st of October 2025, and also touching on the Water Resource Management Act that they're working on. It has got 3 new institutions that will be introduced: the Water Advisory Council, the Water Regulator, as well as a tribunal. But please do get in touch, that is with the ministry, if or should you have more questions. Dishishi is standing by with your news. Do stick around.